Jai Hind, dear student of class 8. Today we are going to start first chapter of supplementary, that is the how the camel got his ham. My dear student, you must prepare another notebook for this. It's another textbook, that's why you will have to prepare another notebook for it, and separately you will write in the same manner as you have written in the previous section from English literature. So you will have to follow the same concept. The first you will write the hard words, second you will write the question and answers. If you are getting any confusion, then you are free to ask, right? So without making a delay, let's have a start of this. As you can see in the first para, in the beginning when the world was new and the animals were just beginning to work for man, there was a camel and he lived in the middle of a howling desert because he did not want to work. He ate sticks and thorns and prickles, and when anybody spoke to him, he said, "Hump, just hump, and no more." In the first of the story, there is the introduction regarding a camel who was living in a desert, and what he ate, he was eating sticks and the thorns and the prickles, and when anybody asked for something, he just honestly saying hump, and no other words. Presently the horse came him on Monday morning with a saddle on his back and said, "Camel, O camel, came out and trot like the rest of us." "Hump," said the camel, and the horse went away and the told man. There was one day when a horse came with Monday morning with a saddle on his back and said, "Camel, O camel, come out and trot like the rest of us." Right? And what the reply the camel has given? "Hump," and the horse went away and told the man. Presently the dog came to him with a stick in his mouth and said, "Camel, O camel, come and fetch and carry like the rest of us." "Hump," said the camel, and the dog went away and told the man. When a dog came towards camel and asked to fetch and carry like rest of them, then the camel replied, "Hump," and the dog went away and told the man. Presently the ass came to him with the yoke on his neck and said, "Camel, O camel, come and plow like the rest of us." "Hump," said the camel, and the ox went and told the man. When the ox came and asked about for the plowing of the field to camel, he replied, "Hump," and the ox went towards man and said him. At the end of the day, man called the horse and the dog and the ox together and said, "303, I am very sorry for you, but the hump thing in the desert cannot work, or he would have been here by now. So I am going to leave him alone, and you must work double time to make up for it." And when the end of the day, the man called all of them, the dog, the ox, and the horse, and said that, I am very sorry, but the hump word will not be profitable in the desert. It will not help either. So he is going to leave them alone, and you must work double time to make up for it. That made the three very angry, and they held a panchayat on the dogs of the desert, on the edge of the desert, and camel came chewing cud and laughed at them. Then he said, "Hump," and went away again. Presently there came along the Dizin, who was in charge of all desert, rolling in a cloud of dust. When all of them gathered there, they were very happy. They were very unhappy. That's why a panchayat was held at the edge of desert, and the camel came after chewing and cud and laughing at them. And then he said, "Hump," and once again he got back. Presently there came along a Dizin who was in charge of the desert, rolling a cloud of dust. Dizin was in charge of dust. "Dizin of all desert," said the horse, Is it right for anyone to be idle?" Certainly not, said the Dizin. Well, said the horse, there is a thing in the middle of desert which with a long neck and long legs, and he has not done a stroke of work since Monday morning. He won't trot. View, said the Dizin whistling. That's my camel. What does he say about it? He say hump, and he won't plough, said the ox. Very good, said the Dizin. I will hump him if you will kindly wait a minute. When the horse said, Dizin of all the deserts, that means, O Lord of the deserts, is it right for anyone to be idle? Dizin replied in negative. Then, well, the horse said, well, there is a thing in the middle of the desert with a long neck and the long legs. He has not done a stroke of work from Monday, and he won't trot. Then Dizin started whistling. Oh, it's my camel. What does he say about it? The horse replied, the ox replied, hump. And Dizin said, very good. Then I will hump him if you will kindly wait a minute. My dear students, that was the first part of this. The Dizin rolled himself up in the dust cloak and took a walk across the desert and found the camel looking at his own reflection in a pool of water. My friend, said the Dizin, what is this? I hear of you doing no work. The Dizin sat down with his chin in his hand while the camel looked at his own reflection in the pool of water. You have given 3 extra work ever since Monday morning, all account of your idleness, said the Dizin, and he went on thinking with his chin in his hand. Dizin moved towards him. Moved towards whom? Moved towards the camel and asked about the idleness, and asked that you have not done a single work from Monday. And camel was busy in having a look of his reflection in a water that was in pool. Okay. When Dizin asked, for your idleness you will have to pay 3 extra work ever since Monday morning, just because of your idleness. And Dizin said, and he went on thinking with his chin in his hand. Okay. So Dizin of all deserts, said the horse, it's right for anyone to be idle. It's right for any just wait a second. The Dizin rolled himself in the dust of cloak and to my friend, you have given 3 extra work on the Monday, and he went on thinking with his chin in his hand. Humph, said the camel, I should not say that again if I were you, said Dizin. You might say it once too often. I want to work. And the camel said humph again, but no sooner had he said it than he saw his back, that he was so proud of, puffing up into a great big hump. Do you see that? Said the Dizin. That's your very own hump. That's you are brought upon your very own self by not working. Today is Thursday and you have done no work since Monday. When the work began, now you are going to work. How can I, said the camel with his hump on my back. That has a purpose, said the Dizin. All because you missed those 3 days. You will be able to work now for 3 days without eating, because you can live on your hump. And don't you ever say never did anything for you. Come out of the desert and go to the tree and be happy. When Dizin asked, the camel said hump, and Dizin said he did not want to listen. Hump, you will have to work. The camel said hump again, but sooner he started having a look over his back, and he was so proud of on the puffing up into a great big hump. Dizin asked if he could see the hump, the very big hump, and it is for what? Just because of not working. And he said that today is Thursday and you have done no work from Monday. When the work began, now you are going to work. He replied, "How can I?" said the camel, "with this hump on my back." "That's a purpose," Disin said. "It's all because of you. You have missed all those 3 days. So you will be able to work now for 3 days without eating, because you can live on your hump. And don't you ever say, 'I never did anything for you.' Come out of the desert and go to the tree and be happy." And the camel went to join the tree, and from that day to this camel always wear hump. We call it hump now. Now to this hurt his feelings, but he was never yet caught up with the 3 days that he missed at the beginning of the world. He has never yet learned how to be happy. And when the camel had joined both of them, all of them, from that day to this camel, to this, the camel always wear a hump. Now it's considered as a hump, as you can see upside over the body of camel. And but he has never yet caught up with the 3 days that he had missed. Means he was not set for those 3 days which he has missed at the beginning of the world, and he has never learned yet how to be happy. After this time, he was also unable to learn how to be happy. Right, dear students, that was a very very short story written by Rudyard Kipling, and the story has been finished. That's why we will have to leave, and there is an information for you, for your benefit, that you must write the hard words. After that you will write the question answer, and it will be provided to you, and you will prepare your notebooks as soon as possible. Right, so my dear students, having this thought in our mind, I am just going to leave you. We will meet in next video session. Up to the time, thank you. Have a nice day.